Hey everybody, Eric J here at Mythico Studios in Mahwah, New Jersey, and tonight I wanted to talk to you guys about some exciting news for Mythic Americas, Mythico Studios' own tabletop game based in the Americas, North, South, Central, all of the Americas. We've got some new releases coming out, and I want to give you an inside look at the Aztecs, how they play, and what's coming out in the near future for them. So again, Mythic Americas, and let's get right into it. So, the new release that's coming out for the Aztecs are the Eagle Warriors. And Eagle Warriors carry slings or swords, and I don't even have the real models yet, so you got to rely on that. There they are, very cool looking. And we're going to talk about them and everything else that goes with the Aztecs. So, first of all, with your Aztecs, the history behind the Aztec civilization is that they were an incredibly powerful tribe, so powerful that they were able to break free from the base of that area and form their own cities. Those were the great cities when they built their great temples, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that they were ferocious warriors. In fact, that caste system worked on how many captives a warrior was able to take in battle, and that's how your status rose. From that, the religious additions of human sacrifice and even ritual cannibalism became part of the intrinsic life of the Aztecs, and you've seen that with the giant temples that were prominent and generally drenched in blood. So taking that myth, lore, legend, and incorporating it into the game, we have the Aztecs. The leader of your Aztec army is basically a Teolocan high priest. He's your leader. That's the model. And he's basically a magic user. The great things about him is that he has command, which gives him a 10-inch bubble. For others to use his leadership, that comes in very handy, especially when you start taking pins. They can use his leadership as opposed to their leadership, which might be an 8, 7, 6, 5, especially with the pins on there. And that 10-inch bubble goes a long way. He has tough, so he can reroll wounds. You can upgrade that tough to 2, which makes him pretty resilient on the table. He has dread, which means that enemies are -1 to hit him and also -1 to their break tests. He has wound, which gives him an extra wound, and you can upgrade that to wound 2, which means that he's now got 3 wounds essentially. So he's got survivability. Starts as a magic user level 2, and you can upgrade that to 3. What that means is that you can carry 3 spells and get 3 rerolls when you're casting for those spells. With an Aztec army whose base is the Bound Dead, you really need that magic to help you do what you need to do, and we're going to get into that in just a little bit. So, speaking of that, main troop choice, which you get in the starter box, that is the Bound Dead. They are basically your zombies. Although in the game they're not listed as zombies, they're listed as undead, because there is a difference between an undead and a zombie in the game. Again, some of the models, you can see them there. And they're actually a lesser troop. They're not great on the battlefield unless they get buffed, and that's where the magic comes in. They do have dread, so again, -1 to hit them, and they cause -1 to break test for their opponents. They're undead, so they never rout. They can be destroyed, but they don't rout, so they're not going to run away. They're going to stand their ground. They have resistance to choking, venomous attacks, and immune to dread and terror. Not the best fighters, but can be buffed really well. Can be a great tar pit if buffed in the right way, which we'll talk about the spells in a little bit. Can make them really fierce on the battlefield. Some of the spells that your high priest can use can up their strength +2, so they become pretty terrifying just on the hit. Gives them +2 resistance. You can up their command leadership so that they don't end up losing combats as much. You can up their speed, and that's huge in this game, especially for these guys, for the undead. So basic unit for the Aztecs inferior fighters, but with the buffs, they can be as good as just about anything on the battlefield. And the magic, of course, is always on these cards, which can be thrown by your High Priest, the leader of your army. Along with them come the Bound Marauders. These are the monsters. That's these guys here. As you can see, they're much larger than a typical Aztec model. The thing with the Bound Marauders, they are monsters, so they're also listed as undead. They have everything that comes along with the undead advantages. They have dread as well, so you're imbuing that fear into your enemies. They also have 2 times HTH, so that means they get 2 attacks each, which is a great thing also because most models just get that single attack. You can give them maquahitos, which is what they're carrying. That was one of the main weapons of the Aztecs, which was basically this big paddle sword that just rend through everything. So with the maquahitos, they get SV2, which means they basically have rending 2. It drops your save, your resistance down by 2, and it gives them +1 strength. So if you have them charging in, they get +1 for the strength of the charge, plus +1 for the maquahito. So they're pretty formidable in battle. The thing you have to remember about the Bound Marauders is that they're somewhat glass cannons. They're not very tough, and they don't have additional wounds. So they do go down easy, so you got to take care when you use them to attack. I wouldn't just run them out. Maybe use them as flankers. Use them, when there's something that needs to be slowed down or taken care of, because they will go down easy. But when they hit like Mack trucks. Again, available in the starter box. It's those models are out, the same as the Bound Dead, the High Priest, and also Champions. I do have a Champion model here, so you get these in the starter boxes also, and the small army boxes, and those are basically your sergeants. Their stats are a little up. They have wounds, so they usually have an extra. They have tough, which means they can re-roll their saves. So those are some of those basics. One of the cool things that is out now, a little hard to get, it comes in the collector starter set, or you might be able to find them in the near future on its own, but a little hard, is a special model that's actually named for one of the game developers. It's Lord Mortis the Mad. He's a Jaguar chieftain. That's the model, and he's one of the Jaguar warriors. He's a chieftain, so he's a big deal. And actually, I think I can show you a picture of the painted version with his stats, and that's him. Really cool model, great, can be used in your army. He's unique, so you only get one. Cool things about the Jaguar chieftain, Lord Mortis the Mad. He has tough, wound, ferocious charge, which means he gets +1 when he charges in. But what's really great about him is he has bestial tactics. So if he joins a unit, which is really what you should be doing with him, he doesn't become a part of the unit, but he does imbue certain things to them, like bestial tactics, which gives them ferocious charge. So now you have a unit going in on the charge with +1 to their strength already, and ferocious charge stacks another +1 on that. So now they're going in with +2 strength because he's with them. If his unit is destroyed, he doesn't go down. He can actually join another unit. So he has to be attacked directly to take any wounds, which makes him a great asset to any army. So if you can get your hands on one of those specials, do so. They're definitely worth it. So I know I have a page here with the stats for, yes, the Eagle Warriors, and here they are. So I think I want to show you that. Those are the Eagle Warriors. And what's really cool about the Eagle Warriors is that they can come equipped basic swords, which makes them basically a decent troop choice. Nothing special, but when you give them slings, which is modeled on the ones here in the picture, they become really special. So what they come with basically, so the slings, when you give them a fire order, they get 2 shots, not just the one, and they can also react, and react is big in this game. What that means is you can give them the ambush order, just place that dice down next to them, and they're kind of in a wait situation. So if another unit, an enemy unit, gives themselves a run order, an advance order, and they come within 20 inches of the Eagle Warriors. The Eagle Warriors can immediately interrupt the action and fire off with their slings. If the unit is running, they have fast, so they actually get 6 inches of movement as opposed to 5. That's 2 extra inches of movement when they're running, and it also allows them to re-roll hits at running targets. So if anybody's running towards one of your units looking to engage for combat, the Eagle Warriors can actually interrupt the action and fire off with their slings, re-rolling. They only get 1 shot when it's a reaction, but still re-rolling puts those stats up a little higher. So it's a really great unit to have. They're more of a stealth unit. They're very fast, so they can get places you need them to get to quickly. I would probably have them in there supporting, going around the flanks. I know in my own army, I am absolutely going to have a huge foundation of the bound dead, because they're a great tar pit, and when buffed, they can really do great with an offensive attack. Your big guys, the bound marauders, comes with 3 in the starter box. I'd probably add 3. Either use them as 2 units for flanking, make 1 big unit, and have them come out of the trees. Don't send them out in front. Use them as a stealth unit as much as you can. And when they hit, they're going to hit hard. And that's what, there you have it. So that's what we have out now. The bound dead, the high priest, the unit leaders, who are the chieftains, bound marauders, and coming out soon are the Eagle Warriors. Pre-order on Warlord or coming to the store. Put in a pre-order in the store for your Eagle Warriors. For the tribal nations, which basically come with Mohawk warriors with axes, throwing axes, and Seneca archers, we're now getting Mohawk warriors with clubs, so they're going to be a lot stronger. The models look great, so you can also look for those. We'll talk about the tribal nations in another video, but this is an inside look at the Aztec nations. If you're somebody who's into undead and loves that and loves the whole Aztec lore of the giant temples and sacrifices, go take a look at the Aztecs. You can get all the undead you want on the field, monsters, and now ranged warriors, which is really going to add a lot to them. It's a lot more coming for the game, including 8 factions that are in play testing now. Product is starting to move, so they're going to be here soon. So see you on the other side of the table, and anytime you want a demo, come on down to the store, ask for Eric J, and you'll get a demo straight from me.